Hello and welcome to the Back Nine Report. My name is Carlos Torres, and I get together with Fred Altvater to check in on the world of golf, to bring you the latest news, insights, analysis, interviews, recaps, previews. Hey, we cover anything and everything golf. In other words, if you have any golf, we have it for you. Fred, hi, how are you today?
Hey, Carlos, I'm pretty excited. I don't know if you can see this here, but just in case for my Buckeye family, this is a
see
really
mine, see mine, see
this is a
mine.
really big
Doesn't
week
have
up here.
anything.
Really big week up here, Carlos. We got this big deal with the with that team from up north coming up this weekend, and this is it. This is the big one. Doesn't matter what happens all year, you gotta win this one. So kind of excited about it. But there was a little bit of golf this weekend, and I did watch some golf. Watched a little, especially the women. Oh my goodness, that was great. But I think we're going to talk about the European Tour. I watched that a little bit too. So go ahead, Carlos. I'll let you kick it off.
I was locked in on the girls this weekend, so I did see the highlights of the guys there on the European Tour. That now is going to be the DP World Tour after this. Right now, forget about it. DP World Tour from now on, no more European Tour. But anyway, Colin Morikawa became the first American. He made history. He keeps going for this big achievements. Colin Morikawa, first American to officially win the European Tour's Race to Dubai, which basically has been around from 2009 in the format that it is. They changed a little bit here and there. But the thing is, before it was the Order of Merit. That's what the Race to Dubai right now it is. It's like trying to emulate what the FedEx Cup it is in the PGA Tour. And right now, Colin Morikawa won. He did it in exciting fashion, but it capped what it has been a great year for him. And gotta give also props to Billy Horschel, Brett, because it was him and Billy, two Americans there fighting for the top. At the end of the day, there in that final round, Colin was the highest ranked player going for it. That meant because of the position that Billy and all the others that were following were not really into it. It meant that Colin didn't need to win it really to win the Race to Dubai, but he went for it all. He had a fantastic back nine there to win. So Fred, Colin Morikawa, that's your guy. He's been doing amazing. He's living up to those expectations, and he's not done. I mean, he's young. He's only 24.
No, I think he's really just getting going good, Carlos. I mean, the guy's only 24, and his game travels. It's really, really solid. You know, Rory McIlroy was in this thing, and, you know, we kind of thought maybe Rory was going to win this thing, but while Rory was bogeying 3 of the final 4 holes, he really fell apart there. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. It was really a little bit unfortunate for Rory. Morikawa blitzed the back 9 with 5 birdies in his last 7 holes. I mean, he was just knocking it stiff and knocking into putts. He blew by Rory and the rest of the field to win, and he becomes, as you say, the first American to win the Race to Dubai, which, as you know, is a little bit of a misnomer because Tiger would have won this thing 4 or 5 times had he accepted European membership. But back in the day, you had to play so many tournaments. It wasn't quite as easy to maintain membership like it is today. If it was like it was today, back when Tiger was playing well in the early 2000s, he would have won this thing on multiple occasions. Colin won 3 events on the European Tour, which they were all joint sanctioned events, right? The WGC, he won this thing, the DP World Championship, plus he won the Open Championship. So 3 European Tour events, which are also just joint sanctioned, which really put him up high in the rankings. So I mentioned that Rory kind of got a bad deal. They were really tied through 14 holes. Rory was playing in the group behind Colin, Rory hit a wonderful drive, just ripped it down the middle, had a short wedge into the green. I think it was 130 yards into the green, and he hit such a beautiful shot. He really hit a nice little wedge with a lot of spin on it. It was really going to check into the green, but it hit the stick right near the bottom, near the hole. It almost went in the hole, to be quite honest with you. It hit the stick at the bottom of the hole, flew back off the green and into a bunker that was probably about 7 or 8 feet deep. And now he's short-sighted with this big steep hill to come up over out of the bunker. He couldn't get it up and down, made bogey, and it really angered him. And so now he's 2 down and he's got to go for it. And Morikawa's ahead of him. He keeps birding everything. So it really was nothing anyhow, but Rory kept going for flags and it just, it didn't work. He ended up bogeying 2 more of the last 3 holes after that. So it really was kind of a bad deal. And I don't know if you saw the picture. I sent you a picture of him ripping his shirt. He was so angry.
Yeah, he turned into Hulk all of a sudden. He ripped his shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that. What was this? There's like a wrestler that does that too, right? What was that?
He was not happy. He was not a happy camper, which was great. I want to see some emotion out of Rory. Rory's this guy that his game's up and down, right? He's got to be into it. You can see it in his walk. When he's into it, he just jumps down the fairways. But man, after 15, he was just dragging down. You could just see it in his body language. And it was just like, what is going to happen next? Why does this happen to me, right? Well, that's golf. That's what happens. So the other thing I want to mention about this thing was that this was really a quality field. The points for this were quite a bit more. The official World Golf Ranking points were more than the PGA Tour was, the RSM in St. Simons this weekend. So that was pretty good. And like you mentioned, Billy Horschel, I was surprised to see he ended up runner-up in this thing. John Rahm fell to 3rd because he did not play. He just felt he played enough. He didn't feel like flying over there and playing. He's had a good enough year. That was it. So what does this all mean? What does this say about Rory? Well, Rory keeps improving, right? He's not clear back to the level he was a couple of years ago in 2019 before COVID, but he's getting better. He's just, he's right there. I expect pretty big year for him next year, actually. I think he's right there. He's driving the ball well. His putting seems to be pretty good. He just at times, he maybe tries to be a little bit too aggressive, and that gets him in trouble. What does this mean for Colin Morikawa, Carlos? He just continues to impress. He wins 2.6 million euros, which is of almost $3 million US. He's had 2 major wins now in his career. His game is built for major championships. I've been telling you for a long time, this kid is a real deal. His swing is as close to perfect as you want. He's an exceptional iron player, best in the world by far right now. That coupled with his consistent driving is why he's performing so well. He's kind of like the anti-Bryson DeChambeau. He doesn't worry so much about the distance. It's nailing those irons into greens. I would much rather see Colin or Victor Hovland in a one-on-one match than we're going to see Bryson and Brooks this week. Oh, by the way, that's Friday. The match is Friday at 4:00 on TNT. If anybody really cares about that, just get a word in there. Morikawa's only weakness is his putting. But Carlos, that's something that you can teach. That's something that you can work on, improve. That can be mechanical. His swing, that's talent. That's physical ability, and he's got that in spades. So he's sitting at world number 2. He's not going to catch Rahm in the near future unless he would win another major, a couple more tournaments early in the year, and Rahm doesn't play that well because Rahm's got a couple point lead on him. So, but I'm telling you, this is really good stuff. Colin Morikawa is at the top of his game every time he tees it up, especially on a difficult golf course. He's the guy you want to watch.
He definitely right now is the young superstar. That's the top hope of all the youngsters under 25. He's the one to watch and the one that has maybe the highest ceiling at this time. So he definitely is here to stay. For the European Tour, now DP World Tour, I gotta disagree a little bit on the quality of the field. It didn't seem like it to be the same quality of a field that we used to have before on a DP World. Let me give you some names, Carlos. You had
We had Rory. We had Sergio, Shane Lowry, Mats Fitzpatrick, who did real well, by the way, really played well on Sunday. Paul Casey, Patrick Reed, Adrian Hanser, Tommy Fleetwood, Billy Horschel, Will Zalatoris. Those are some really big names. You did not have that many big names at Sea Island.
At where?
At Sea Island.
No, that's what I mean. But I'm not comparing it to the RSM. I'm comparing it to previous editions of the Race to Dubai Championship.
Gotcha.
It's very different. Something is different. And I'm not taking away anything from Colin. That's not the point. To me, is that the point that I want to make is something is going on. And definitely, I don't see it how the DP World Tour is going to improve it, even with higher purses, because the PGA Tour is just throwing money out of the window right now to the players just to keep them there so they don't go to the PGL. That is also going to affect the DP World Tour Championship, because the thing is, even though they have now done the changes, you only need to play 9, which is real easy for these people. Because all they have to do is play the 4 majors, the 3 WGCs, and 2 more tournaments. Colin played 10, so that makes it real easy for any of the American players to go there and compete and be able to do what Colin did. But the thing is that even with that, I didn't see the same expectations or the same, let me see that final of the DP, the Race to Dubai, like we have done in previous years. It's like, hey, John Ram is there. There's a world number 1, number 2 are going to be there. It's a little difficult to me to see how is it going to improve. That's a European Tour each year. But at the same time, I mean, I just look at how the final rankings were, and where are the big names? The DP Tour Championship has an issue how to try to retain those big names or try to come and bring them there. That's
well, don't you think the way the season is condensed now, the way that the new PGA Tour season starts with the players in March and finishes with the FedEx Cup, that race for that 5 or 6 months through there, those tournaments are packed and they're so hard. The guys are tired. I mean, they're ready to not play. And so they don't want to go flying around the world. That's why I don't know how all this new stuff is going to work with these other 4, 5, or 6 tournaments they're going to come up with this guaranteed money, no cut stuff, with this new world golf tour stuff. They're going to be in places like Asia and Australia and, the Middle East and all these places. And these guys are going to be expected to fly over there and play. So it's going to have an effect on the PGA Tour as well as the DP World Tour, the European Tour. I mean, these guys are getting stretched thin now, Carlos.
They are. And I don't know. We'll see next year. We'll definitely monitor this. But it seems like to me that even though with the step up on the purses, the DP World Tour Championship is taking a little step back into the quality of players. And maybe, I think there's something else behind that strategic alliance between the PGA Tour and the European Tour, not only to keep the European Tour from becoming part of the PGL, but at the same time, maybe what we have been talking about, that World Tour and the European Tour being one of those feeders into that World Tour that eventually could happen. But we'll see anyway. Colin Morikawa, great season, capping it with the Race to Dubai Championship. And that's just the sky's the limit, like we've said about Colin Morikawa first. So anyway, any final words before we close it, Fred?
No, that's the things that I wanted to get across. Kudos to Colin Morikawa. I think this is really great. And it just, again, reinforces how great this kid really is.
Thank you for joining us. It's always our pleasure to bring you the latest in the golf news and information. Remember to subscribe to our channel. Just click right there and subscribe to us, or also follow us on Twitter. Our ID is at Pac9 Report with the number 9 in the middle. Thank you for joining us.